Welcome everyone to the Intoxication Station. We're currently filming on location at BVL Oyster Bar over here in Brooksville. Awesome place. We've had a chance to be able to do an interview with the owner.
My name's Blair Hensley. I've been called a lot worse, so I mean, I'll answer to about anything this day and age.
Oh, same here. Just don't call me late for dinner.
I hear
so
you.
I'm Raymond, currently over here with Blair and Strickland. Place is fantastic. So how long have you guys been here for?
So believe it or not, this in the '60s. This building here was called the Greasy Spoon. It's been here forever, and it was built because it was in the center of one of the largest industries in Central Florida. We had 3 rock mines here, and so this place has been here. Everybody's been driving by it. We've been here about 6 months, and we picked it up. It's been sitting vacant for probably the past year and a half. So we picked it up, and actually we didn't know what we were going to do here, but we knew we bought a restaurant in the middle of nowhere, but in the center of everything.
Mhm.
And so we bought it and said, all right, what are we going to do with it? And that's we came up with the idea of the Oyster Bar. Brooksville Oyster Bar, BVL Oyster Bar, otherwise known as Bob's. It's not your battery-operated boyfriend. It's Brooksville Oyster Bar, okay?
A great location on it, too, because, I mean, everything that's around this location is pure Florida at its finest. Got all the kudzu with all the pine trees, oak trees. It's in an awesome location.
It really is. And that's the funny thing about it. And I'm serious. We are in the middle of nowhere, but we are in the center of everything. We are the closest restaurant and bar to Sugar Mill Woods. But then on the backside of us is Centralia and Spring Hill. The other side is the Lake Lindsay, Istichata. Then we got Brooksville to the south of us. And it's, you have a lot of people. You're in the middle of nowhere, but you have a lot of people within 5-minute, 10-minute driving range to you. You know, we say all the back roads lead to Bob's.
And they really do. Because it's not super difficult to get here as long as you know how to get here to begin with.
That's right.
Now, what about the other locations that you guys have?
Oh, we have we have the Florida Cracker brand as a whole. So we didn't put this under the brand. We wanted it to be unique because people were getting a little confused because we have the Florida Cracker Kitchen, the original in Brooksville, with the tap room and bourbon bar.
Yeah.
Then we have the Cook Shack. Then you go north of us, we have the Homosassa. We have the Florida Cracker Kitchen. We have the Monkey Bar. We have the ice cream up there. So people are getting a little confused with it. So we said, you know what? We're going to build this a little bit out on its own and just call it the Brooksville Oyster Bar, BVL Oyster Bar.
Now, you guys do have a ton of locations, and they're all in great locations in general. So where I'm from the Orlando area, so everybody knows about I know the traffic out there is a nightmare. Everybody's aware of the malls, Universal Studios, all that good stuff. But yeah, there's so much more to Florida than just the attractions and the beaches. You got to go to that in-between spot, which is where we are. And quite honestly, I do like it out here.
It's a different world. And what a lot of people don't realize is how agriculturally driven Florida actually still is. It's still the second cow-calf state in the U.S. How many vegetables are still produced in South Florida? Of course, you got some citrus left. But the agriculture here, it's still an agriculturally driven state with the tourism. A lot of people think of Florida, they think of the beaches, they think of Disney World, all those, but the real Florida is not that.
No, not even a little bit.
And what you see and what we try to promote as a whole is what Florida is and teach that history of what a Florida cracker is, but also just the history of Florida. People don't realize how rural it really is. I mean, the first cowboy that ever came to the United States of America started in Florida.
Oh, yeah.
First cow that came to the U.S.
started in Florida.
You know what I mean? So there's a lot of things that started here that proliferated everywhere else.
Oh, yeah. And, I'm glad as a native Floridian myself, 4th generation to the state, to be able to still see places like this. Because everything has gone so commercialized with big corporate businesses and whatnot. It really is amazing to be able to see a business born out of Florida, still being in Florida, pushing the history that you guys do promote with all your locations. It honestly is a great place. So where are we going to be able to find you guys on social media?
I mean, social media, you just type in Florida Cracker, you'll see the upside down boot. That's all of our other locations. We didn't talk about, we have one in Webster, which is the Florida Cracker feedlot. It's at the actual cattle market in Webster. We have, that's a cool spot. Tuesdays they still have the cattle market. That's old school. There's only, I think, 3 cattle markets left in the state, and that's one of them. We have Dade City too, which is an old iconic Central Florida restaurant. It's called Lunch on the Moge. It's been there since 1981.
Really?
It has, it's been in Southern Living magazine numerous times. And the food there, I mean, if y'all haven't been there, the food there is unbelievable because we just took over what was existing, put our name on it, and then fixed the building up and went. But I mean, it's an iconic restaurant. We make little muffins and do a pecan chicken. You know, if we ever got rid of that, some old lady will come shoot me. I promise you. I promise you. Then, of course, we got the Florida Cracker Fish Company down in Citrus Park, and that is the old Ballyhoo's, corner of Gun and Ehrlich.
All right.
It's in a 1910 Florida Cracker House. And it has a great feeling, great ambiance, all fresh seafood that's down there with a bourbon bar like we have in our tap room.
Which the tap room is an amazing place over in the Brooksville area. First time I went there was back in, January of this year. First time ever seeing the place. Came out here to hang out with him. May have had a couple of drinks and decided to hang out here. Got to be responsible and whatnot. And we went over to Florida Cracker, the kitchen portion of it. Fell in love with it. The best biscuits I've ever had in my life. And that's saying something because your boy has had some biscuits in his day. Went over to the tap room, had a couple of beverages over there, went ahead and visited the gift shop. One of my favorite cups is a Yeti with the upside down boot on it.
Yep. We sell a lot of those.
Yeah, everyone always asks me, where's that at? And been promoting the place ever since. So definitely a place worth checking out. 10 out of 10 would definitely recommend.
Well, thank you.
Do appreciate you. Thank you for giving us your time today.
Not a problem.
And
I do have a viewer question for you, though. Viewer question asks, what's a common misconception about oysters?
Common misconception about oysters. Good question. You know, I'm assuming all y'all are 35 and older.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, we were taught to only eat oysters in certain months, etc. And that was because of the heat, the bacteria, and everything that could happen with them. But this day and age now, they harvest those oysters. They're in the cooler so fast and shipped so fast to you, it changes how fast. I mean, back in the 80s and 90s, it was hard to say that was 30 years ago, 40 years ago, that, let's face it, transportation wasn't the same as it is now. Refrigeration wasn't the same, and the protocols weren't the same to get the product in and get it refrigerated and get it to you. They probably didn't have harvest dates like we do now. Like, we get a box of oysters in, there's a tag in there that says harvested on August 1st. By August 13th, we can't serve that oyster.
yeah.
So if it takes 5 days to get to us, because they got to harvest it, get it, ship it to us, you have a very short window to get it out. So they've gotten real tighter on the regulations. But how fast and how good the transportation is and how, you know, refrigeration's changed as a whole, you can eat oysters year round.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And you know, the other misconception about oysters are, you know, I've heard this a lot. Oysters and shrimp and shellfish, for your first 40 years of your life, you can eat it.
Mm-hmm.
Then one day you're allergic to it. Your body changes and you become allergic to those oysters as a whole.
Yeah.
You know, and that's probably, you know, something else a lot of people don't realize. A good buddy of mine up in Palatka grew up on shrimp boats. He's 44. One day when he ate shrimp, he went into hypophylaxis shock, and now he's allergic to any shellfish. He goes, I grew up on a damn shrimp boat. I grew up around seafood. Now I can't even eat it, you know?
Yeah, which is a bummer.
Yeah.
Huge bummer.
And something we do different here with our oysters, a lot of people either steam them or they're raw. For us, we have a big char boiler and you know, it's like cooking them on the fire pit at your house. You get that good char-broiled taste to them and going. So, you know,
they are delicious.
it makes a totally different world having char-broiled oysters.
Oh, yeah.
So, my question is, what's your favorite thing here?
So far, the Coors Light's pretty good. The tater tots. Oh, my God. The tater tots are fantastic.
Those tater tots
here.
are.
Oh, the loaded ones, cheese, bacon, tater tots. You can't go wrong with them.
Yeah,
you honestly can't. So, Rick, what's your favorite thing here?
Char-broiled oysters. I like all the flavors. Oh, no, take it back. Favorite thing? Bob sauce.
Bob sauce.
Oh my God, it's so good.
That's a great story behind the Bob sauce.
Yeah.
So the Bob sauce, it's my great uncle's recipe. He handed it down to me. I've been eating it my whole life. People try it and they go, "What is this?"
Yeah.
Well, it's a New Orleans. You don't hear this very often. It's a New Orleans style barbecue sauce, is what he called it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not it has mustard and vinegar based, but it's not like a North Carolina barbecue sauce because there's also tomato in there and a couple other things that give it. And that Bob sauce and how Bob's really came up as a whole is my you know, I eat oysters all the time. I love them. So once a month, I'd order a box of oysters in. I put them in my cooler in my truck, keep them iced down. Every night I'd eat 15, 20 oysters for dinner, have a thing of crackers and Bob sauce. I'd put it on there and I'd eat it. And then, you know, when we bought this place, I'm going, what do I do? I said, Oyster Bar. My brother and our CEO, Sean, they thought I was half crazy. I go, guys, in Hernando County, there's not a fresh seafood place. You had the Bayport Inn, which is now after Helene's no longer, it's in existence. And I was going, where do you go if you live in Brooksville around the surrounding areas without going to Homosassa, Crystal River, or down to Tarpon Springs to get fresh seafood? Right. So I said, we're going to do an oyster bar and give it a whirl. Of course, we do burgers, charbroiled burgers, wings. We have a $20 prime rib night. You know, we do other things, but bringing that into steamed shrimp in, I mean, there's nowhere else around here that does it.
Well, especially with the same quality that you guys present as well, too. Because I'm telling you, it's fresh off the boat. I don't think anything here is commercial in any sense.
No, I mean, that's our goal. I mean, and all our restaurants are scratch kitchens, or, you know, we prepare things. We use high quality products. Our food costs are higher because of that. You know, and that's how we manage all of our operations. I mean, you go to the Florida Cracker Kitchen in Brooksville. I mean, we're still rolling our biscuits out every day. We are making our gravies from scratch every day.
Right.
You know, we're doing fresh potatoes that we're cooking and cutting. How we doing, guys? You know, we're doing even all our slicing and dicing. There's nothing hardly in a can that comes out. We make it all. And that scratch kitchen aspect, that comes from my brother. Me and my brother do all this together. You know, he's from the culinary side. He's the chef. He's cooked at the James Beard House. He's done that. So his expertise and that's what we're about, is that, you know, that quality food. Because you know what? We're gonna mess pancakes up. We're gonna mess up food here and there. But if the service is great, you'll come back. But if the quality of food's there, you'll always come back when you add those two together.
Definitely worth checking out. Once again, we're currently at BVL Oyster Bar over in Brooksville. Ton of other locations to check out when you have a chance to come out here. Once again,
hey, thank you guys so much. Thanks for coming out.
Yes, sir.
All right, guys. Hey, we'll see y'all at Bob's.
Yeah.